So, some of you will be considered parentless. For some of you, it is your parents that is attacking you. You are trying to get away from them. You are fleeing from them. You are leaving them. And they are the ones who are attacking you. This part is not for everyone, but it is for someone. Take what's for you and leave what's not. Okay, so the scripture is coming from Hosea chapter 8, verses 7 through 9. Well, Hosea chapter 9, verses 7 through 9. Hosea chapter 9, verses 7 through 9. And it's entitled, The Prophet Ridiculed. They have come, these days of punishment. They have come, these days of recompense. Let Israel know it. The prophet is a fool. The man of the spirit is mad. Because your iniquity is great, great too is your hostility. A prophet is Ephraim's watchman with God, yet a foul snare is all his ways. Hostility in the house of God. They have sunk to the depths of corruption as the days of Gibeah. He shall remember their iniquity and punish their sins. This is the revelation that the Father is giving me through this scripture. For someone, you are someone who is divinely connected. You are someone who is divinely guided. You have a relationship with the Father. Okay, you are someone who hears from the Father and you listen to what it is He says. You are divinely guided by Him. And there is someone who is trying to punish you. There is someone who is trying to get something from you. They're trying to take something from you. And they could even be trying to tell your person, your husband or your wife, that you are a fool and that your spirit is mad. So they could be trying to make it seem like to your person that you crazy. You don't got no sense, you a fool. You know, don't listen to nothing you say. You can't be trusted. They are doing this because they see that you are going through a lot. And because they see that you are going through a lot, they want to treat you bad. They want to treat you bad at a time that you are going through a lot and you are facing a lot of adversity. And so they want to add more to it by telling your person, see, I told you she was crazy. See, I told you she was a fool. Or see, I told you he was crazy. I told you he was a fool. You can't trust nothing he say. 333. And they're doing this at a time when you're going through a lot, so it can make it seem like what you're saying or the word that the Father gave you is not true. And that it can't be trusted because it's at a time that you are going through a lot. And this is the time that this person, for some of you, it is your parent that is attacking you and treating you harshly or with great hostility. The Father wants you to know that He is watching over you. And when somebody treats you with great hostility, they are treating Him with great hostility, because you are someone the Father sees as a prophet. He recognizes you as someone who He talks to, who listens to Him. And with that being said, you are His temple. You are His church. And if anyone is hostile towards you, then they are being hostile towards Him. And the Father says this person's corruption has sunk to the depths. And He shall remember what it is that they have done to you. And He shall punish them, 444, for their sins. This is entitled, again, A Prophet Ridiculed. This is someone, you might have a parent. For some, it is not for everyone, but the Father did point it out. by the previous message and leading on into this one, that, you know, for some of you, it is your parent that is doing this. For some, it could be other people. But the Father wants you to know that he remembers this person's sins against you. He remembers their wrongdoing against you, their evil that they have done against you, and he is going to punish them for their sins. This is someone who wanted to make fun of you. They wanted to make you look bad. This is someone who wanted to ridicule you in front of others, especially your person. Especially in front of your husband or your wife. They wanted to make you look bad. They wanted to make you look like a fool. They wanted to make you look like you was crazy. They wanted to make it look like nothing you said, the word that you received from the Father, was not true. And the Father says he is going to punish this person for what they did to you and how they tried to make you look. This is someone who tried to punish you again and take something from you. And this could be very well your husband or your wife. And for some of you, it was a parent who tried to take your husband or your wife from you by making you look bad. By saying you can't trust them. Nothing they saying is true. Look, they crazy. If God told them this, do you think they would be going through that? Do you think that they would be facing this? When the Father already told us before in previous messages that the things, when people see us on the outside and it don't look like what they feel like it should look like, the Father's, because their appearance, they don't look like they walking with God or doing whatever, however people feel when they see them. The Father says, when you see people, you don't know what they're dealing with. You may see somebody, and yeah, they might be smoking, they might be drinking, and a divinely guided person, a prophet. The Father says, you know not what we face. We don't fight the flesh and blood. We are fighting against principalities in the spiritual realm. So yeah, you might see somebody going through something, going through a moment, going through a down spiral, not at their best. And this is what somebody doing. They're attacking you while you not at your best. They're attacking you while you on this down spiral. They're attacking you while you just going through a lot. You don't even have to be backsliding, but you could just be going through a lot. And somebody just attacking you because they see that you're going through a lot. And another thing people don't understand is sometimes we have to go through a lot to prove that we trust the Father, that we're going to do what he say regardless. Okay, of what it looks like, what it feels like. We gotta trust the Father and the word that he gave to us, despite what the natural world is showing us. And that's when people get to judging you, because you're going through something so you can show yourself approved. And they don't know that you're going through something to show yourself approved. So they're judging you while you're going through these things. Oh, if you knew God, or if you was listening to God, or if you was divinely guided, then why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why you don't have this? Why you don't have that? Because I'm showing myself approved. I don't have to have all these things to trust the word that the Father gave me. That's the point. I'm going to trust the word the Father gave me, even if that don't look right, even if that don't sound right, even if they said this, even if they said that. I'm going to trust the word that the Father gave me. This is how you learn to trust God, and he learns to trust you, by showing yourself approved. Are you going to listen to me, or are you going to listen to them? Sometimes this is how the Father places lying spirits inside of prophets, because the Father will give you one word, and then he'll place a lying spirit inside of a prophet to give you another word, and he'll say, who are you going to listen to, me or them? Show yourself approved. Prove yourself to me. Who are you going to trust? This is a prophet. They divinely God. They can hear from me. 9/11. Who are you going to trust? I told you this. They saying that. Who are you going to trust? People don't understand the test and things that we have to go through to show ourselves approved. The trials and tribulations that we have to go through to show ourselves approved. What they do is they judge and they point fingers while we trying to pass these tests, while we trying to figure it out. Okay, and while we trying to pass these tests, and while we trying to figure it out and follow the voice of the Lord, the enemy is throwing spiritual witchcraft and arrows and darts at us, the child of God, who is trying to do what they're supposed to do and follow the voice of the Lord. So to the world, it doesn't look like, you know what I mean? Oh, if he was, that's why the Father says, don't worry about other people. Don't gossip. Don't talk about anybody, because especially the only way you should talk is if you willing to help. And the Father says you shouldn't even talk when you're willing to help. The Father says you should just help and not say nothing. If you see a problem or a situation with somebody that concerns you, you shouldn't gossip about it. You should help that person and never mention it. That's what the Father wants you to do. But if you see somebody going through something and you talking and you gossiping, but you ain't doing nothing to help it, but nothing to help, that's a lot of people go to hell for that. Speaking against someone that you know nothing about. 11:01. Speaking against somebody in a situation that you don't know nothing about. You don't know what God told this person. You don't know what the Father divinely guided 11:11 this person to do or to say. A lying prophet is divinely guided, because the Father sent that spirit. Because he's trying to test somebody to show themselves approved. We don't know the ways and the statutes of our Father. Our job is to be obedient. That's why when people come to you, be like, is he or is she that? Can I trust this? Can I trust that? Take it to the Father and ask the Father. Because nobody knows what the Father is doing but the Father. The only way you're going to find out is if you take it back to the Father. That's why the Father says, test every spirit, test every word. Bring every word and every spirit back to me. 12:12. Because you don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what I'm doing. And people can get mad about it if they want to, but that's the truth. You don't know what the Father's doing. That's why he says, bring every word and every spirit back to me. And that's why every prophetic voice should always tell you to test the spirit, test the word, take it back to the Father. If you have a prophetic voice that is telling you what your dream means, unless the Father is telling them divinely guided to do this, you shouldn't have a prophetic voice telling you your soul is your responsibility. Your soul is your responsibility. Prophetic voices are divinely guided to give you and to relay a message from the Father. They are not to tell you who your husband is, where you should go in your life, what should you do in your life, what choices, decisions you should make. Not here to tell you none of that. Who is where, who God called. We're not here to tell you none of that unless the Father divinely guides us to do so. But the Father says, never tell somebody who their husband. That's my bit. You send them to me. If you got a prophetic voice saying, yep, that's your husband, ma'am. Nope, that's not your husband. That prophetic voice is supposed to direct you back to the Father. You're supposed to be being directed back to the Father. For any questions you have concerning your soul. Am I following the right person? Go ask the Father. I'm listening to this person, but they don't do it. But go ask the Father. You know what I mean? So that's the message. That's the revelation, y'all. It's just people attacking you at a time when you are going through a lot. They are being mean to you, hostile towards you at a time when you are going through a lot. They're trying to ridicule you, make you look bad, make you look crazy, and in front of your husband or in front of your wife. People gossiping, trying to make you seem like you're crazy in front of your husband or your wife. Look what she's going through. Look what he's going through. If he was divinely guided, if she was divinely guided, then why? The Father says, you know not what nobody is facing. We fight not against flesh and blood, but the principalities in the spiritual realm. You don't know how I'm testing somebody for them to show themselves approved to me. The Father knows every child individually. A snowflake that's fall is different. That's every child in this world. We are all different. The Father has to handle us all differently in different ways. And He knows what way to do that for each child. When I was with children every day, all children, I couldn't deal with all children the same. I couldn't speak to all children the same. I couldn't feed all the children the same. Some children wanted to feed themselves. Some children wanted to be fed. Some children just needed a little help. Some children were just learning how to start eating. Some parents didn't even want their children to eat yet when it was time for them to start eating. So I had to sneak them food. You know what I mean? Like, it's time for this baby to start eating. This baby got a mouthful of teeth. You know what I mean? Can the baby get some applesauce or something? It's time for some nourishments. It's time for some food. And, you know, that's why the Father places us in the path of other people who can help us to move forward when our parents don't see when it's time for us to start moving forward. Some parents just want us to stay a certain way or a certain age or in a certain stage for a long time or forever. And you just can't. You just can't stay the same person in the same stage forever. You have to grow up. You have to mature. And you have to separate yourself from your mother and your father. 17. And join to your husband and your wife. And y'all become one. And sometimes the Father has to put you in a place where there is someone who is going to feed you. 17, when your parents not ready for you to be fed yet. There are going to be people and teachers in your life that are going to give you information and tell you things that your parents don't think that you should know yet. But you old enough to receive this information. You need this information. These are things you should know. But your parents are trying to shield you or block you or don't want you to have that information or access for whatever reason. But it is time for you to grow up, move on, and become one with who you are, become one with God and become one with your husband, and to cut the umbilical cord, to release, to be freed. Okay. Then parents come and they wonder why their kids are snatching the food out their hand now. And off their plates now, because they've been eating at school. Now you won't have no choice but to feed them, because they've taken the food. They taking it now. They not asking you no more, because they already don't have the taste of what food is. You separate from home. You know what I mean? They getting it somewhere not at home now. And so when they see food at home and you saying that they can't have it, they trying to take it. Now, what you mean? That's food. That's nourishment. I can eat that. I had it. It's good. It's like you're trying to deprive your child of nourishment. You're trying to deprive them of something that's good, something that's going to sustain them, something that they need. Because you feel like they're not ready, because you don't want them to have it, because you want them to stay in a certain stage, place, or mind frame, because you're not ready for them to grow up or separate or come into truth of what food and nourishment really is, or and what you can gain from it. I don't know. But the Father is saying it's time for this child to eat. The Father said, it's time for this child to eat. And the Father saying that he's preparing the table. It's time for this child to eat. 20. It's time for this child to eat. He's preparing the table. Okay? That's the message, y'all. That's the revelation. Peace.